Okay, so the first curator for today will be the just immediate past curator, Mr. Ajayi. We have his recording, which he did in 2021. And then the next video will be the presentation by the current curator of Esie Museum. So we're going to be looking at the presentations from both angles, from both perspectives. They're all both saying the same thing, but it's important for us to pick one thing from one. I mean, it's going to be interesting if we could pick something from one of them and pick another thing from the other person. So I'll start with the videos. I'll try to alert them that we've started so they can also join in. Like I said, I'm not going to waste our time today at all. So we're just going straight into the discussion, into the videos. So we'll start. I hope I... Sorry, let me make sure I have the video on first. Yeah. Okay. I think I need to stop the share. Sorry. Okay, so share now. So we'll start with the video by the previous curator. I need to increase the one.
Stone images that was brought to limelight in 1933 by Esie. But prior to this time, the existence of these objects have been known to the Esie community as far back as 1775. They say people moved from the old Oyo Empire as sort of royal stool dispute, and they migrated down to Esie, and this is how the objects were discovered by that famous hunter that led them all the way from old Oyo. His name is Baragban. This is how they were discovered, and the community, they were paying homage every year as sort of what the father said, that this object, they are formerly human being turned into stone. So you can see this is the priest that represent the community when they are paying homage to the object. This is the priest. Then after the priest, we have the center of worship is the Oba. And the blood of animal normally smear on, you can see on the blood on the body of the object. We have Oba area, one that beside over then the ingredients of worship of the object is we have coconut, palm oil, and other things. So you can see the priest pay homage during one of the festival by the community, one that normally led him when they are carrying out the festival. Then here, when this man died, we have to have a woman too. That's an age that a woman will be decided that she can play the role of gender equality. That's why we have a yellow day. So you can see women also paying homage, as we have in other places. Then here we have a woman during the festival coming to redeem their promise. Some people that they are looking for children, as soon as that their requests have been made, so they have to come and pay homage to Oba Ere. So this is the first building that was built in 1945, but it collapsed. And another one was built in 1960 by the museum experts. You can see that the objects were perfectly arranged. Then, as I've said, the museum is housing the largest collection of stone carving in the of sub-Saharan Africa. You can see them, we arrange them in layers, and they were made of soft stone, according to the archaeology. The archaeology believe that this object, they represent a total way of life of people in the olden days. And you can see them, they represent different activities in society. You can see this object kneeling down. You can see holding palm, you can see kola nut. You can see the seed inside the pod of a kola nut on a kneeling position. You can see their mode of dressing. They are half naked. That time they don't have availability of clothes. They went about with loin cloth, animal skin or leaf, but they weave a rope so that they tie so that to prevent it from being followed when they were walking. Then when you look at their neck, you can see there are different necklaces being worn that time. They were also fashion conscious. Then you have the warrior. As I've said, the captain represents a different activity carried out in the olden days. When you look at the back of the warrior, you can see him carrying the quiver for arrow at the back. Then you can see his arm to the chest as if taking an oath. Then we have a well-to-do somebody in the midst. You can see as we have today, people that are well-to-do like a Dangote of our time. You can see them with their flashy car, the mansion they live, and the expensive clothes that they wore. Then you can see this man represent a well-to-do somebody. They are being woven or plaited. Then you have a special long beast after the small one. Then we have the warrior too. You can see them with the conical hat helmet. That time they fought with a bow and arrow. You can see the men wearing the helmet, which signifies the warrior. Then we have the tax collector too. You can see here being half-shaven, which has been played by revenue officer today. You know, in the olden days, the Esie, they live on the tax from the villages under them. But today, the Oba, they collect a salary. Then here we have entertainment. We have entertainment here. You can see the object holding musical instrument. Look like a sitar or mono. They use it to entertain themselves when they have a naming ceremony, housewarming, marriage, or what have you. Then here we have the warrior too. The mode of dressing when they are going to the war. You can see this man tying the charm to the hand. They call it a kumpa in Yoruba. No amount of arrow or bullet to that thing will not penetrate, but it has been replaced by our bulletproof today, or what have you. Then when we look at the heads, the women, they were carrying different hairstyles, which have been replaced today by the imported Pami and Jerry. But thank God, the economy is sending all back to our.
Okay, so sorry. That is that about from the perspective of the past, just immediate outgoing curator. We're now going to hear from the curators, and then we're going to take questions, and we're going to have a discussion. Now, for benefits of the people who are just joining, the Esie Museum was founded. It's the first museum in Nigeria. It was founded in 1945. And it is believed by, oral history tells us that it was human beings that turned into those soapstone images. Now, we call them soapstone images because if you put them in water, they are going to foam like soap. So the question now is, do we believe the oral history, or do we believe the archaeologists, the scientists who say that human beings could have not been turned to soapstone images? Firstly, the heights, as you can see behind me, my backdrop, their heights are, they're very, very small. And then another question is, who would have made about 1,500? I'm sure if we still have to dig the area where they were found, we'll still find some more soapstone images. So who would have made the 1,500, over 1,500 soapstone images? And they are also, as you can see from the curator, it mentioned that some of them are like people going to war. We have tax collectors. We have wealthy people around them. We have people in hairstyles. So really, were they human beings? And somebody once told me that, yes, because they are soapstone images, that maybe it's their blood that turns to soap when you put them in water. That because maybe that's why they are soapstone images. But anyway, whatever it is, let's go again now to the presentation by the current curator who just started this week. This week on the 6th of April, he was able to make some presentations for us. I'm hoping that, I think he's here. I can see somebody in his last name, Mr. Okay, this is Owoni. He is Mr. Omoni. I'm hoping that he will join us. The immediate past curator also promised to join us. So let's go now to the presentation by the current curator. of Esie Museum. We have it in two. The presentation is in two parts. So we'll listen to the first one, which is about, I think, 30 minutes. Then the second one is just 7 minutes. So everything is just about 20 minutes. Can we see my screen, please?
My name is Ibrahim.
Yes.
Yusuf.
Sorry, the recording is not too loud, but please, let's just
National
listen.
Museum Esie. National Museum Esie is the first established museum in Nigeria, established in 1945. National Museum Esie houses the largest soapstone objects in the whole world. It has over 1,500 soapstone images in its collection. You cannot talk about National Museum without giving credence to the great ancestors of Esie and their historicultural antecedents. According to the oral tradition of Esie, the royal lineage of Esie Kingdom are descendants of Prince Adesole from Old Oyo Empire, who contested the royal stool of Alaafin of Oyo, but lost to his half-brother. As the tradition demands, he has to leave Old Oyo Empire so that his half-brother, can have a peaceful reign. Prince Adesole and his lovers, as well as his sympathizers, migrated from Old Oyo around 1775. They settled at various places, different places. The last place they settled before their present abode is called Okodo, which is about 5 to 7 kilometers away from here. At Okodo, according to the oral tradition, they increased in number, and as a result, there was a scarcity of water supply throughout the year, especially during the dry season. As a result, the community leader requested or enjoined the community members to search for a place where they can get sufficient water throughout the year. Fortunately, one of their sons and a leader by name Baragba, who was a very great hunter, on one of his hunting expeditions in the bush, he stumbled over these stone images under a palm tree. He was so scared. As a result, he went to the town and reported the incident to the king of Esie. The king and his chiefs followed Baragba to the site where he discovered the images. The oral tradition narrated that when the Oba saw the images, he was so scared and frightened that he took to his heel. That is, he ran away. As a result of this, it had become a taboo for any Oba of Esie, whoever ascends the throne of his ancestors, to see the images again in his life. The only way the community can know about images is to consult Ifa Oracle, as it is done in the old good days. They consulted Ifa Oracle, and Ifa Oracle told them that the images were human beings that turned to soapstone images. And it was as a result of their stubbornness or arrogance to the supreme being called Eledumare. However, the Ifa Oracle told the community that these soapstone images still have supernatural powers that they can assist the community. On this premise, the community started worshipping the soapstone images. When they started worshipping these soapstone images, they established a traditional religious cult around the images with an annual festival, a priest known as Ayaru, and Esie of Esie as the grand patron. The worshipping of the images as well as its festival became very prominent, that it outweighed other deities that being worshipped by the people before the advent of these images. As a result, at every annual festival of these images, sons and daughters of Esie, home and abroad, do converge at Esie to celebrate these images. This equaled applied to their neighboring towns. The socio-cultural activities around the images and its annual festival became so prominent that it attracted the attention of H.G. Ramshaw, a missionary attached to Catholic Diocese Oro, who later informed the then colonial administrators about the great heritage at Esie, and this subsequently led to the establishment of National Museum Esie in the year 1945 to protect the images as well as to conserve the images. At this point, we should first of all look into the developmental phases of National Museum Esie since 1945. In 1945, an octagonal building was erected with corrugated iron sheets to house the images. This was later replaced in 1965 with 2 galleries and a storehouse. The 2 galleries were recently renovated, especially in 2001 and 2002, while the storehouse is yet to be attended to. This is the first gallery renovated in the year 2021. This is the second gallery renovated in the year 2022. We also want to inform you that National Museum Esie galleries have experienced many development services. This is how the gallery was exhibited in 1945. All the objects were packed together, as you can see. And this is how it looks like in the year 1966 when they built a gallery. It should be noted that the exhibits were open. They were not showcased in glass. But this is the latest one done in the year. To be precise, the latest exhibition that has the showcase was open to the public in the year 2022. I welcome once again my audience to the main gallery of soapstone images in National Museum Esie. On the soapstone images, we have two perspectives about the objects. The first one is oral tradition or oral version held by the Esie community. And the second one is the archaeological or scientific perspective or notion about the objects. The oral version of the perspective maintains that, according to the Esie people, that in the old good days, there were some people living here. And one day, they have some strangers that visited them. These strangers told the community members that they can make their community to be a big city. And they will come and live with them. However, if the community wants it to be so, they should not go anywhere. And the stranger told them that they will go and come back. So the community members should stay within the town. They should not go anywhere. The community agreed, and the strangers left. They started expecting the strangers to come back day in, day out. The stranger did not come back. So one of those days, as you know, in the past, the major occupation is farming, hunting, and warrior. So one of the king's wife reminded the king that, Baba, you have to go to the farm and attend to your okra farm. If not so, the okra farm will go spoil. And the Oba agreed, and he went to farm the following morning. Unfortunately, when he left the palace, the strangers who are the visitors, they came. They stayed there while the man was busy on his farm, working to attend to the farm. And by the time he returned from the farm, as he was about to enter the palace, he realized the strangers were waiting. As a result, he passed through the back door and entered the palace. And to convince or to just give an excuse, he told the visitors that he was preparing what he's going to use to entertain the visitors. However, the oral tradition said, while the strangers are coming, they saw the Oba, but they don't know that he was the actual king of the town. So the excuse the Oba was giving, they were not contented with that excuse. Unfortunately for the Oba, there was incriminating okra leaf on his chin.
Okay. I'm also going to put us through the next video. So let us just get our pen and paper ready for our question time, our question and answer time. So I'm going to, we have the continuation of that video, so which I'm going to project now. Okay, so, okay, here we go. Please put on your...
The strangers pointed out that,
right?
Look, you said that inside, how can there be an okra leaf on your chin? That means you are the one we saw on the farm actually working. They became angry and very rude to the Oba. And even the oral tradition said they wanted to harm the Oba and the community. As a result, the supreme being, Eledumare, intervened and caused the strangers to turn to stone images. They further explained that you can equally see that majority of them were in sitting position. As they were sitting in that day, when they are waiting for the Oba. The second perspective or notion is by the archaeologists as well as some of the museum professionals like ethnographers, curators, conservators, and so on and so forth. They posit that when you look at this object critically, they are an artistic work of some people. However, they cannot justify the people that made them. They pointed out that when you look critically at these images, they are not of human size. And also justify that in the history of mankind, either through the scriptures, there had no time being reported that people lived on this earth with this type of shape. Secondly, they said, when you look very well, you can discover that the open surface where you can see they are all smooth, but beneath or under them you can see the sharp edge of the knives or the instruments they use in carving them. Equally, they said they were all in sitting position, just as it is an artistic work that they can stand. And equally, they said the outcrop, the rock which they use in carving these objects, they call it sit-tight in English, while the scientific name is soapstone. Soapstone, according to them, that when you put inside water for a long period of time, it will later break out foams. That foams will soften the outer layer. When it softens the outer layer, you'll be able to make any sharp object, to manipulate it, to give you any type of shape and any size that you wish. Also, some scientists, especially the museum professionals, ethnographers, archaeologists, pointed out that these objects are an artistic work. Why? They said if they were human beings that were petrified or turned to stone images, their adornments or ornaments on them, we talk about the beads and the apron, when they petrified to stone images, those ornaments will be different from their skin, and it will be on them. Equally, the stood on which they sat is the same thing with the bodies, their body. So this justifies that it is an artistic work. As I'm standing, for instance, if I specify to stone images, my clothes, my glasses, my shoe will be different from the skin. So that is their justification. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, what lesson can we learn from these objects? I will just put forward very few. Objects are our great heritage. They are window to our great past that debunk the notion of Western world about African primitivity. They are living evidence of the great ingenuity of our forefathers. These objects were discovered by the Esie community in around 1775. By that time, I can tell you confidently that no European or any man from Western world has reached the hinterland of Africa, especially historical antecedents. How the people lived in the past, their way of life, mode of dressing, mode of organization, political organization, economic organizations, and so on and so forth. In fact, if you want to understand this, or if you want to understand more about these objects, visit the museum. However, a very thorough study of these objects, you can understand about the culture of the people, the history of the people, the science and technology of these people. So I would suggest that majorly, if you want to understand some people, go to the museum, take the object, and you'll be able to understand very better. Equally, you can see these images were made from different types of communities, though there are some prominent ones. However, it justified that there was inter-ethnic relationship among the people of the past, that they dwell together in a very organized and civilized society. You know, National Museum Esie is sited at the site of discovery. Pay a visit to National Museum Esie and other museums to be informed about your history and culture. Thank you.
Wow. This is it's very interesting. I'm sure everyone from the museum must be proud of ourselves now. We are very, very proud of our heritage. The Esie Museum being showcased, we can see. I don't know if we have Mr. Money here, the acting curator who just took us through Esie Museum. Mr. Money, are you here? Mr. Money, because he said he will be here and I tried to call him. Please, if you're here, please signify. Are you the one in Infinix Hot 8? Then you can unmute yourself, please. Mr. Money, if you're here, please unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself if you're here and speak. Now, from the history, at some point I was also being carried away and I was like, maybe it is true that human beings were the ones that turned to these soapstone images. Because really, I mean, we need to give kudos to the African culture at that time. If some people actually carved out these images, we have over 1,500 of them. And like I said, if we have to dig more, I'm sure we'll find more. Then those people must have been super intelligent, dedicated to their work, artistic work. Is that Mr. Money?
Yes, I'm the one.
Okay, let me spotlight you so that everyone can see you. Okay, so now you're live at the museum program. We just showcased your presentation, very beautiful presentation. And I'm sure some people in the audience may want to ask questions on the soapstone images. I was taking down notes, and I'm sure other people too were taking down notes. I mean, like, I mean, it's the first time for myself, but it's the first time I'm hearing of Prince Adesole. What did you call it?
Adesole.
Adesole.
Yes.
Interestingly, I'm from the royal family, from Ijajado, and I'm just hearing of Prince Adesole. I know we came from Old Oyo Empire. I know that we're founded by the Prince Baragbon as well. And I know that.
Hello, ma.
Yes, sir.
Baragbon took the present Esie right from Okodo to present Esie, but it was written in this accounts.
Okay,
Agboye.
Yes, Chief Agboye is late now. I actually invited some of his children here. I'm not sure if they are here because we would have loved to hear from them as well. He was the custodian of the history for the recent time, for the recent generations. And I was hoping that I'll have some of his children here. I also invited them to the program. I know it's noted that Esie used to worship the soapstone images because they assumed that they were human beings. We don't worship the soapstone images again, but we have what we call the annual carnival. The annual carnival is mainly targeted at the youth to just enjoy themselves. We come up with different themes. I'm actually going to quickly run through the one we had last year, then while we take questions from the audience. Recently, I had somebody maybe praising the Esie people and was like, Esie, Olosan Meje. And that has been resonating in my brain, that Olosan Meje, does it mean that we were created or we were born to be lucky 7 times? Or I don't know what that really means. Maybe somebody in the audience, because I can see my big ones there, my daddies and mommies. Maybe they will be able to tell us why we have Olosan. Why would they call us Olosan Meje? Now, we don't worship the idols again, but we have what we call the carnival, Esie Museum Carnival, not for the younger ones, the youth, to enjoy themselves. I'm going to actually play the one we had in 2020. Just a moment. The one we had in 2022, the recently concluded one. It was just like a 5-minute clip of the Esie Museum Carnival. So like I said, we don't worship the soapstones again, but at least we try to showcase our heritage to the world, just like we're doing now. Please, let me know if we're seeing this. Sorry.
National president ọmọ ìbílẹ̀ Esie ẹ̀dá yín ẹ̀fìdá yín ẹ̀ẹ́mẹ̀rí délé kí ọba baálẹ̀ máa bọ̀ ṣáìtẹ̀ tó ń bí kí ọba wa sílẹ̀ náà máa bọ̀ kábíyèsí sà. ìyẹn ìyẹn jẹ́mọ̀ lè gbàgbé hero nílẹ̀ èsì ẹ̀bẹ̀ yìí ẹ̀dá kẹ́bà pàtẹ́wọ́ kù. ọ̀kú à Honorable Ọládìpọ̀ ìyẹn ní wà ní àdúrà yín kò wà ní Ọlọ́run lọ́wọ́.
tó ti tiraka láti rí pé gbogbo nǹkan táwọn ó ṣe léèní ó yọrí sí rere bàbá dúkẹ́ gbọ́ pé àti ìrìn wa àti wá fẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ètò yìí nísìnyí Olúwa ẹ túbọ̀ wá lọ́wọ́ sí ọ̀rọ̀ wa.
President fáwọn adápálá ẹ̀yin àgbà tẹ́ bá rí pé àṣẹyìn ẹ má ló já wá síbi tó ṣòro ọmọ yín lájẹ́ ọ̀pọ̀ òde ìmọ̀.
The Esie of Esie, Ọba Ibrahim Yakub Agboola Babalola Egujobi Keji, the traditional chiefs here present, the honorary chiefs, the president of Igbomina Descendant Association of UK, Al-Hajj Sikiru, the distinguished invitees, the organizers, participants, members of the press here present. Mo kí gbogbo wa káàbọ̀ sí ètò. Inú mi sì dùn púpọ̀ láti kí wa káàbọ̀ sórí ètò.
Ọba Yakubu Babalola Egunjobi, chiefs, sons and daughters of the Esie Kingdom, as well as the general public, to assist in the preservation and promotion of our indigenous cultural activities, programs for posterity. We also appreciate the presence of Ọmọ Igbomina in diaspora, UK, in our presence today on the MT. We are welcome, sir. I think you can see Esie Museum is still developing. We still need the hand of individual and community to develop it. At this point, it became imperative to appreciate the Active Projector Limited for the role playing to make this program a reality.
Unity, promotion of our culture, bá ṣe ń ṣe yìí, kọ́lọ̀ ń bá wa gbé ju bá ṣe gbé lọ, kó kún wa, kàdé wa ní Ọlọ́run lógo at the end of the day. I say thank you all, and I wish each and every one of us a Merry Christmas and New Year in advance. Thank you.
This is a great occasion because it promotes the image of Esie and the museum. In fact, all the indigenes of Esie are really happy and really appreciate the initiator of this program, Mrs. Oyinoye Indru. And we pray that Almighty God will continue to bless her and protect her. So I'm advising all the indigenes of Esie, by next year they should contribute positively so that the next year program will be more successful than the present one we are doing.
And the community at large has a lot to gain from this museum carnival. One of those things is to bring Esie on the map of the world, showcasing the goodness, the endowment of God in this town. By so doing, the whole world will know that Esie is somewhere, having something very spectacular. You can see today we are celebrating the cultural heritage of Esie people, and whereby the children, the package their cultural dance, not only limited to Esie, but cut across all the culture in Nigeria. The Igbo, the Hausa, they also showcase their own cultural dance, which show that our culture is very rich, and the children, they are very happy, and it promotes unity among the children. Anywhere they see themselves in this culture, they see themselves as one. So it's like a unity in diversity.
I think it's a kind of cultural heritage, and your culture is your language. Your language is also your culture. This means that not to bury our culture and our language, and it's going to go far away worldwide, because it's really encouraged the community, especially the young children that are growing up, that our history will not die easily like that.
I feel happy because it's an exciting thing to be among those people that will participate in Esie Museum Carnival 2022.
I dress as our heroes, our forefathers, how they dress, and all what they have done in this Esie.
We are happy to come and show our culture here. Yes, that's how we do it in our place also. We are also thanking the Igwe that give us opportunity to come and participate for this occasion. So we say may God keep Igwe long life and prosperity.
Like I said, we don't worship.
Welcome to.
Sorry, just a moment, please.
Welcome.
We don't worship the images again, and but we have a carnival, and you can see from the carnival we still get what our forebearers were doing by bringing all the culture, all the tribes together. We have the Igbos, we have the Hausas, then the Yorubas. So we are still doing what our parents, our forebearers were doing in those days. And I would like to leave the floor now for anyone who has questions based on we have the curator here now. So based on the videos that we've watched, based on the presentations that we've watched, if we have questions, please. Okay, I have Dr. Tolufake here. His hand is raised up. Please, sir, can you unmute and ask your question? The floor is yours. We have the curator here, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I'm glad to be part of this show, and a big reminder of the history of Esie, in particular reference to the museum. I want to commend our hostess, ever impressive Mr. Adeshola Oyinloye, for the marvelous work she's been doing, not only with respect to Esie Museum, which is of our hometown, but also for other museums in Nigeria. You're doing a fantastic job. So keep it going, Shola. The curators too, the two curators who have, whose videos have been played, I think they've also done a good job. Thank you also. Well, I want to ask some questions. The curators have used two words, to pertain to the images. They said images, then they said objects. I've also read in some places mentioning status. Technically, what's the difference? Which one is more appropriate? Is it status? Is it images? Is it objects? And why? I want them to please answer that question. Number two, I know that, well, incidentally, I'm also an indigenous of Esie. So I grew up as a little boy, going to the museum, even when it was in its earliest stage of recognition and development. I knew that among those images, if you want to call them images, there are some that really look like Caucasians, like white people. Okay, what can you say about that? If, from the mythology and the history you've learned in the oral tradition, how can you explain that? Some of those images, in fact, some were wearing helmets, like, what do you call them? 4 men in a workshop or something like that. So that aspect of them depicting Caucasians, what do you want to say about that? Thirdly, it used to be said that within like 10-kilometer radius of the site of the museum where these images were excavated from, that the context, the chemical context of the soil, which could have been used to make those soapstone images, was not available. Is that still the same now? Have they now found likely sources of the soil that would have been used for carving the images? And then lastly, the oral tradition about the visitors that came to Esie and the Esie of that time, the king disappointed them and all that. And you correctly said or referred to the okra on the chin of the Oba. The other aspect of that, which you did not end the narration with, was that apart from the fact that an Esie, once anybody ascends the throne as an Esie, he must not go to the museum, he must not go and see the images. Also, he must not eat okra. Again, as long as he's on the throne. Once an Esie, somebody ascends the throne as an Esie, he must not eat okra soup again in his lifetime. So I think those are the questions and comments I want to submit for now. Thank you. Well done.
So, Mr. Money, you have the questions. Dr. Fakeye wanted to know the objects. Are they called status? Are they called images? Are they called objects? I mean, I would sometimes hear as well those three terminologies used for those images, objects. Then he wants to know that some of those images or objects look like the Western people, the Oyinbos. How come those people in those days were able to carve such images? Then the likely sources of the soil. Soapstone images should be made from certain type of soil. We don't have it in Esie. Have they been able to find out where they are likely to have been carved, if they were carved? Then the last one, I think it's, what was the last one again, sir?
I said that part of the tradition is also that the Esie does not eat okra because of that narrative of history of visitors coming and they found the okra, a speck of okra on the Elisie's chin at that time.
Okay, so I leave the floor now to you, Mr. Moni. Can you please respond? Please unmute. You are muted. Unmute yourself. Okay, that's fine.
Let me start from the fourth question. Hello, ma. Are you hearing me?
We are hearing you clearly, sir.
Okay. Let me start from the first question, the first observation. We, as a professional museum officers, when we arrived, what the community told us about the myths, that's what we relate. So for my 20 years as a researcher within the museum and have stayed in the Esie community for the past 15 years before I left home, I have not heard that the Oba can't eat okra. But he is an indigenous here. He might know better than I do. That's my observation at the end. Then the issue of objects, status, or images. In most cases, it depends on the professionalisms. Some artworks or art professionals, they use status. Others use images. Then you could have preferred artwork or artifacts. That's why majorly we use soapstone image in order not to confuse people. So any man in town will be able to understand what we are saying. As he was saying, he's a professional in one artwork. So that's why he's saying that. But for the general public, for them to understand what we are saying, we actually use images. And in the museum, we use objects, just not to confuse people. Then the other one about, have we got an area where the sample or the outcrop of that stone is available? When you are going towards Ija, behind, I'm forgetting Ajiroba's house. Do you know that place, madam? Are you hearing me?
Yes, we are hearing you, sir.
Are you hearing me?
I can hear you, sir.
When you are going towards Ija,
yes, I know.
behind
yes.
house, when you walk about maybe not up to 50 meters, there's an example of soapstone that we discovered there. Then within this area, when you go to Ijan, before you enter Ijan's palace, Onijan of Ijan's palace, there's an element of soapstone there.
Okay.
And you see some
good
little samples at Uro. But within the perimeter of Esie, 50 meters, that we are yet to find any object there. Then the issue of different ethnic communities, as he's saying that they represent white men. That conical cap, if you look critically at the history of West Africa, it's very peculiar to either Hausa Fulani or the Dupe people. As majority of the people, they have stripes, 3 stripes at their mouth and their earlobes. However, you cannot. That's why in my clip, I said, from the images, you can see that there's different ethnic interaction. So I cannot predict either they have met any foreign people or foreigners. There's an element of foreigners in that object.
Okay.
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 Are you hearing me?
Yes, we have you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You've answered the 4 questions. Do we have any?
Are you hearing me, madam?
Yes, we can hear you.
So that's my observation, and that's what I can say so far.
Okay. Okay.
The first question, what is the main, what can we call the objects or thoughts, images, or I don't know the other, but for general public, it is preferable to use images so that they
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. You have answered my question.
Thank you, Mr. Omoni. I have another person's hand is up. Ekis, please, can you speak? Unmute yourself. Please speak now. We can hear you. Go ahead now. Go ahead. Wow, we can't hear you. Maybe you can type your question. Okay. Good evening.
Good evening. Oh, good evening. I really can't. I said I really. As a philosophy student, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes.
Yes, as a student, a philosophy student, African philosophy. In fact, this has really brought up a lot of issues actually to my mind. A lot of answers too, to some of the issues that we have, that we read about the West view on Africans, that we are actually irrational, that we don't think, that are not creative. In fact, it debunks all these claims of the Western world. In fact, I really appreciate this. It opened my eyes, and the person who actually explained or spoke on these things really did a good job. Well done. I think I want to ask a question. Are you actually that? I don't know. I don't know. I want to say this. I will try and send a link. I don't know how it will be done. If they can actually be of a kind of a partnership with this organization, especially all those in my department, philosophy department, on African this thing, it will really go a long way. I don't know if I can ask for I don't know, permission to send the link to like a philosopher, to like a professor, one or two of them, to at times join if there's any this thing you want to show.
You can join. I mean, we always send out the link at every time, so you don't only have to be members of the virtual friends of the museum. Anybody can join. You can let's send it to people to join. I mean, we're all learning, and it's always interesting to have people of philosophy now from your department. It will be interesting to have them. We'd love to have. We always have professors from history before. So we welcome everybody. And thank you very much for being part of this program. I mean, I myself have listened to the history several times, but each time I listen to it, something comes up. I ask myself, and then sometimes I get confused. Could they really be human beings? Is it true that maybe the blood is the one that is looking like soap now? I mean, maybe at some point the medical doctors will also tell us if blood after some time, if you wash it, will become soapy. So I mean, those are little things that comes to mind. I think someone is also raising his hand. Ifedun Dayo. Thank you very much, Ekis. God bless. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah. Can we take the question from Ifedun?
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. I actually really love the Zoom question, the topical issue. I just want to find out if it has, because historically I was told that the statute, they all represented the activities of the villagers at a material time, at a particular time, that were all the things that they were doing, that at a time just they all became statute. How true can one link that to history? That's just what I want to find out. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Moni, can you answer that question, please?
Please repeat the question. I don't hear him well.
Okay. Yeah, the question I asked is
please,
that...
repeat the question for me, please, man.
Okay. I'm on it. The question is that
Hello, man.
Historically, we were told, I learned that the statutes, they represented the communities at that particular time, and that it was what they were all doing was what suddenly they all turned into statutes. So I want to liken this to the biblical story of Lot, when he was asked not to look back, that he had to look back and he turned into a pillar of salt. Can that be the exact story relating to the statutes we find there? That's the question I asked. I hope you will get it, sir.
Did you get that, Mr. Money?
Salt.
Okay, let me say it. What he's saying is that, I mean, what the according to history, that it's human beings who turned to those images. So he's not linking it to the biblical Lot story. That could it be the same thing that happened to Lot's wife in the Bible, that happened to the Esie people for disobedience at that time?
Okay. No, it can't be, because when you look critically, the biblical one is being cited in the book and recorded by the nature or the scripture. As I said, there's nowhere it has been mentioned in the scripture. So if that's the Noah's wife was not read by the scripture, people would relate. At the same time, there's no human being of such size, height, and size ever in the human history. Then, as I said, the archaeological perspective, if you was here when you related it, there are a lot of evidence that it is not so. Their size, the outcrop, even though we can look at the outcrop at Ijan, and some element of it, little element behind Ajiroba's house. So with all what we see, then equally you can see the name of the Kaffas beneath them. So I don't believe they are similar to that of the scripture.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't believe they are similar to that of the scripture. This one is artistic work.
Okay. Okay, well,
Thank you very much. I think I'm okay.
Yeah. Well, I have somebody again, Shadrach. I have Shadrach. Okay. Please go ahead.
No, the audio is not fine. The audio is not fine. I have concluded with the question that they are not the same. Okay. We cannot compare this one with that of the biblical one. They said they turned to salt and found in the sea. And this one, they were found beneath or some surface of the earth. Then equally we can find the outcrop within our community. So they're different.
Okay. I thought somebody...
And going by the archaeological views, as I mentioned earlier.
Okay. I thought I saw Mr. Shadrach. He's not here again. He raised up his hand before. I mean, like Eki said as well, that, okay, I have Mrs. Omidiji. Please, ma'am, can you unmute yourself?
Thank you so much. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I'm so sorry, I actually joined late, and most of the presentations have been made before I joined in, but I met some of the questions, especially my uncle, Dr. Fakayes. I know that, you know, a lot of people, the history and the story has always been behind the fact that, yeah, you see people turn to stone because of disobedience of our king and all that. And we all get to know eventually that no, by the virtue of the sizes, the stature, the compositions of those images, that they actually are not human beings turned to stone. The issue of the issue of what has been, what has not been, is just because of the fact that the images are very heavy. They are very, very heavy. Even the small ones, it takes time to carry. It's not easy to carry. So that's where the issue of, were they made somewhere and dragged there? Then how did they drag it there? And then the issue of, okay, if they found the materials around there, the things were carved and they were left there by some reasons. In any case, whatever the story, seriously, as an indigene and as somebody who grew up in the area, I'm a very proud Esie. I lived my primary school life and everything in Esie. In fact, right now I'm sitting down in my house at Esie. We love the fact that, you know, wow, the controversies and everything, the stories about her. But the truth of the matter is, I really still hold on to the fact that, okay, it's us. We are not the stones, we are not images, we are not, but it's us. It's part and parcel of us and as a culture. Whether they were brought in, whether they were carved there, whether we can have materials, you know, somewhere to come and do it, whatever the story is a thing of pride to me. And I'm sure it's a thing of pride to everybody that comes from the Esie kingdom. So thank you for all the histories that we have had. Thank you for all the stories that we have written about it. And for those other things that are still going to come up. Because I was listening to the lady who was talking about, who is a student of philosophy. These are the issues that will come up again. And a lot of us will come along again to come and start research and all that and all that. But in everything, I'm not asking a question. I'm not adding to what has been said. I'm just trying to say, we thank everybody who has contributed. We thank everybody who is still writing stories about us. The most important thing is we are proud of who we are, Esie people. And the museum is ours. Yeah. And we happen to have the first museum in Nigeria. And we have the museum that houses the largest collection of soapstone images in the whole of Africa. That alone is a badge of
the whole world.
For us. Oh, it's in the whole world. Oh, thank you, Uncle. So we are proud of that badge of honor. So thank you, everyone, for your contribution. We are still coming to write stories about the Esie movement. It's come to stay. So thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I was also
Adeshola, we are very proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. I was also going to ask, does anybody know, because this came up during the weekend, during the week, does anybody know why they call Esie people Omolosomeje?
No idea. In fact, the Omolosomeje, that when I heard it last week, I'm like, where did that one come from? But I actually think, is it Olosomeje?
Oloson, she spoke clearly, Olosomeje. And for me, I was looking at it, I see that Esie people are 7 times lucky. That is, they're always lucky.
We are not 7 times lucky. We are 7 times blessed.
Blessed, yeah.
We have mountains, we have hills, we have rivers, we have everything, we have nature. I get that blessing because just look at us. You know, I'm sitting down here, I'm seeing hills. I live behind, in front of a river. we are blessed. That's just it. We are just blessed.
And that will bring me to something that I really need to encourage us as Nigerians to do. Nigeria as a country is very blessed. I think during the week again, we were talking about the moat of Benin City. That's the wall of Benin City. I mean, like Eki said, she said that all this just show the ingenuity and sophistication of Africans. We've been sophisticated people before the Western civilization came to us. We had our own way of doing things. In other parts of the world, something like as small as a hill, like you said, Ma, will become a tourist attraction. The people will just go and visit and see nature. But with us, we are not taking all those seriously. And I think we just need to start promoting our own things. We have a lot in Nigeria. I can understand the security aspect. That could be really one thing God will help us. We'll be able to work on. Once that is achieved, we should now start promoting tourism. I'm glad, I'm happy, I'm always proud to be from Esie Kingdom. We kind of put this on Easter weekend so that people will have more time to watch us after Fridays. Fridays off work. So Saturday will be another day for them to relax at home and watch this program. I'm not disappointed at the number of people who turned up today for this program. Do we have more questions, please?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Please go ahead, sir.
Good day, indicate anywhere you are. And let's give God the glory and adoration. I thank you, my dear sister, for your work. God will continue to bless the work of your hand.
Amen, sir.
Please. Yeah, I don't have more questions, but to just thank you for showcasing Esie generally and the museum. And I'm happy to see one of my brothers here. I invited Professor Usman Aribidefsi.
Oh, okay.
Also worked in Esie also, and he is an archaeologist. And
we should hear from him, or please let him stay on so he can give us.
Yeah, that's why I'm talking. It's there already. I invited him just about a few minutes ago. I just remember it's in Arizona here. It's a professor, and he has a lot to say about Esie Museum.
Please let him tell us, please.
I'll tell you. Don't worry, he's going to tell you. The thing I want to say more is that I think by now everything. When I was very young, I left primary school in 1967 in Lagos, and I happened to come to Esie when one of my brothers, Chief Oladipo, was working there and one of the boss there. And during that time, in the museum, we have a farm very behind the museum, and each time we are digging the ground, we are trying to take Ankoy Bay, doing some bridges. We used to find a lot of this soapstone coming out all the time. I'm talking of the 68, 67, 68, 69. And it was that very time, maybe around 68, Awolowo came there, and I was the person who presented the register to him. And I've been to Esie in about 2 years ago. I was asking them if they are able to keep all the register of people coming to Esie. I think they can't find it. Maybe they are just taking the record of dignitaries, people coming from part of the world. Yeah, that is one, they should be keeping the record. And secondly is that I think Esie Museum is not coming to limelight, and it's going to be like people visit Jerusalem and Mecca, and it's coming to that area very soon, with the way that I'm looking at it. So we need more promotion, and we need more exposure about it, which the promotion of this Esie need more. We have to go far. We have even on our neighboring town,
surrounding Esie. During the carnival, before the carnival, we need to do a lot of promotion. Maybe a flyer, send it to all the town around, invited all the kings, chiefs in all the villages, all the towns surrounding Esie for more promotion, down to Ilorin and down to other states. Publicity, so that I'm talking of publicity is not enough. And then we have to approach all schools, both primary, secondary school, university, because to become a tourist attraction, schools can use it as an excursion also. So we have to encourage all schools how they can use the place as excursion. Now, discuss with somebody, I say, oh, she has been there before. They used to say something about it in their school, but she has never been there. When I came to Esie, I was in Esie to do an ed program, and she was there. She said, now, they have to encourage all schools for excursion, because that museum is kind of it's an educational enlightenment for schools to know more about it. So our culture, our language will never die down, never. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Nice to see that. Nice to hear that we have a professor who even worked in Esie on this program. So please, the floor is to you, sir, Mr. Professor. Is it Professor Aribidesi?
Yeah, Professor Osman Aribidesi.
Okay, sir. The floor is yours now, sir. Please enlighten us. I'm going to spotlight you now. Okay, sir.
Yeah, I hope good. I'm actually in Arizona. So it's still there, and I woke last night, and my brother messaged that meeting going on or some discussion going, so that I should join the Zoom. So I was surprised that it's actually that I with anyway.
Thank you, sir.
No, I don't know what you want me to do. You know, Esie is my second home, and I work this museum for, but that was my first job as an archaeologist. I'm an archaeologist by profession. So I'm a professor here at Arizona State University. And so my first job in Nigeria was at Esie. So I was posted to Esie as a archaeologist. Then I spent about, before I moved to the university, then from there to the United States. So I'm very happy with what is really going on, although I don't really know the goal or of this group, or what you guys are aiming at. So maybe I'll be happy if you me a little bit what is the goal behind this discussion. What is it you are actually doing?
Okay. Thank you, sir, Professor Esie. Now, this program, we call it the Virtual Friends. The Friends of the Virtual Museums, Nigerian Museums. It started actually during the COVID time. Now, normally, we'll just, as you know, people will go to the museums normally, but when there was this lockdown, so my organization approached the museum, the NCMM, and asked if we could bring all the tours of the museums to virtual platforms. And so it was launched in 2020, and we've been doing this all the time. We do it once a month, just to show, we have 52 museums and monuments in Nigeria. So we just showcase one of the museums. This year we've done the museum in Benin. We've done the assassination of Muritala Muhammad. We did the Slave History Museum, Calabar, last month. And then we're doing a Esie Museum this month. Next month, it will be another museum, and it goes on and on and on and on like that. And we have a WhatsApp group where we of members, so we can just send information. Even on that WhatsApp group, we discuss at length at sometimes, not only what we are discussing today. Maybe somebody finds a clip outside, we'll just push it to the platform and we will discuss it. So that's what we've been doing with the program. Now, so this is not just about Esie Museum. Esie Museum only strategically is being showcased on an Easter Saturday, when we know that people would have rested on Friday and they would attend on Saturday. But it's something we do every month, at least one museum a month, and we'll just discuss like this. Just like last month we had the the Slave History Museum of Calabar with the Badagry Slave History Museum. We talked about the Fagbe Miman, the slave master. I mean, a slave himself who became a slave master and was, traded in slaves and all that. And all the theories now. Some said it was not trading with the slave masters, that they forced him to be selling and to be selling out his people and all that. I mean, so many controversies, but that's, it will always happen. It's about oral history. Actually, I can see one of my uncles here, Mr. Jide Awe, who is the son of Professor Mrs. Bolanle Awe, is here. I actually sent the link as well to Mommy Awe because I thought she would be in attendance. I know she's aging gracefully, and she's very, very much alert to environment, probably the time and all that. So I just hope that with time, we'll continue to promote the Nigerian heritage. Just like Eki said, the ingenuity, civilization of Africans. You need to watch the Benin Museum. You need to see the telegraphic tools. It takes people who are very intelligent, who were intelligent even at that time, to carve out the telegraphic tool. The telegraphic tool is a tool that tells stories. Even when they sent it to Calabar, where he was on exile, the colonial masters that were with him did not understand the stool, but he understood the message on the stool. So these are little things that we learn on this program. There's no day that we have this program that I don't learn one thing or the other. Very interesting things. So coming back to you again, Professor Aribi Desi, you've been in Esie, you've worked in Esie. What can you tell about our museum, the history?
Sorry. Okay. Yeah, I was at Esie 1989 81. So, and as a resident archaeologist from Lagos Museum, yeah. So I was at Esie with other archaeologists. One be a colleague of mine is retired, and so we did, and I think I clearly, in fact, said some of the material I excavated from our museum is they are still at the museum, and you know, Esie Museum is an archaeological museum, one of the early by the federal government. So what I can tell you is that I effort because tourism is important. And unfortunately, Nigerians will just very far behind. I think we need to promote them, and the only way to do that, I think, is something you are doing. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
So, the story behind Esie, the materials, and I don't know if it's enough time for me to do that.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead. There's time.
Maybe. The stone materials there are different stories behind these materials got. There are theories that some people, some strangers to stone. I'm very sure probably you must have of this oral tradition or this tradition. And then, you know, there are stories which are more archaeological, and a scientific story or theory that these materials actually represent. And the way I look at it is that they're just telling us a story. They are telling us a history, because it's actually history itself. To understand why the reason behind the creation. Before I see people migrate here, all these environments, yes, they were occupied by some society. We don't know them. I think it's that these are just mixture of Yoruba, Nupe, and then before the entire region was conquered. So, and then maybe settlers move away. And the early settlers, whom we don't know who they are, that the images, these images, the activities that were going on, like the culture, the society. You know, in Africa, we only have a few whose languages are written. So, and this is this image is just a way to express. It's like a language, like how the reflection of our culture, our society. If you look at this image, you can see it depicts different activities. You know, some of these images may be king, or some show commoners, shows you know, people engaging in different. So it reflects the society like it just show. I mean, instead of we write our history down. There was actually no way of doing that. They were passed down from generation, either or in a creative. What you have there at so we just have to study it in a so telling us what is the society. I mean, this represents a very in that region, probably even before Odoyo. The area was conquered by Odoyo. The current people of Esie migrated, at least from the oral tradition that we have, arrived probably around the 70s. And we have the people who came from Odoyo met those images. So that means they just didn't know how the images got there. That's one theory that we have. So the connections, there are a lot of things still learn from this image. But what I believe, images were created in that environment, because already we have with identified materials, that is stone outcrop from which these were made. So they were not moved from any. Just imagine the weight of these stones. I mean, there were no vehicles in those days. So the images were just in their own environment. They were created there, and then they represent things that have long gone. So, and I think that is pretty much can tell you. And then the images are the thermoluminescent dating, because there's this is a system of dating used in archaeology. There are also other just made of clay, the fired clay, and archaeologists were able to obtain dates from those fired sculptures. Those fire you know, represent those this. So they got a date, maybe 13th century, about 12th century AD, from those days. Those stone carvings made around that So 11th century AD, 12th century. That's pretty much what we know. And the evidence of stone carvings limited to Esie, though them have been found around Esie. In my research, we were able to find a piece similar stone carvings Okiya area. Some said that Jara Esie, though at Jara Esie were probably taken here to Jara. But we have pieces from area which probably created. Those are just about pieces, and some of them are shows as if they were finished or finished carving. So I think with more risk, we are more likely to find more evidence of carving around this area. So, but what I can tell as I said, they were in their location. I don't think they were moved from air. And again, we are still learning which ethnic group, but that's the mixture of Yoruba and Nupe, because when you look at it, you can see scarifications that show Yoruba culture, some culture. But again, in those days, people interact. The exchange of culture and other, and that's pretty much. But more research is expected on this. So, you have any other specific questions? And here,
if more images have been found, Mr. Omoni, are you still here?
Can't even hear this.
Mr. Omoni.
Okay, yeah.
Mr. Omoni, are you here? I think we lost him there. The curator. Okay, still here, Mr. Omoni. Please, can you unmute? Please unmute. Okay. Somebody wants to know, you're muted, Mr. Omoni. Somebody wants to know if there are still more images that have been found since the time. Please unmute yourself, Mr. Omoni.
Sorry, before he comes on, please, I'm sorry. Before Mr. Omoni comes on,
yeah.
What I actually want to know, I want to know whether there has been excavations, maybe years recently, or if there are plans to continue to search for more. Because honestly, those ones I'm seeing right now and are those who have been seen since the 60s. So I'm just wondering whether is there any attempt, like Dr. Aribi Salah, I don't know, you just spoke now. Like he said, are there more researches going on? And are there plans to continue excavations? Sorry,
between 2008,
yes, sir.
2010.
Yes, sir.
Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing, sir. I'm hearing.
Between 2008 and 2010, there was an excavation.
Okay.
In the recent time, there was a Director General to put more excavation in order to buy, maybe they can still find some elements. The crowd is raining, so I'm not getting the network. The Director General, in the recent time, try to organize excavation, but I don't know which part of Esie, either with the museum premise or outside. But we have gone to Ijan and behind this man, Chief Asobaloju or something like that house, to look at the outcrop. Either it will be in a large quantity.
Okay.
So I cannot say precisely when would they say there will be further excavation. But the one done between 2008 and 2009, we still found some outcrop within the earth crust, and they were equally showcased at the new gallery in 2013, to be precise.
Thank you very much.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. The weather in Esie is about to rain.
I equally applaud Professor Ari Bidesi, though I did not meet him. I know we have worked with him one of those days when we did some at the museum. I would like to respond to the person that introduced Professor Ari Bidesi. Yes, sir. As he exhausted, you have to keep it inside somewhere in order not to lose it. So when we finish one, talking about the things, so that one finished, and we are using don't discriminate. We don't discriminate. Any royalty, any important personality come, we do honor them and we get them. It is raining here, so the weather, I don't know, maybe you're hearing me.
Although it's cracking, but it's okay.
It is raining here.
Yeah, we can pick up the pieces of information. We are hearing you. Oh dear. Okay.
I can't.
Oh dear. Okay, I think like he said, like Mr. Money said, he said that he said that that it's raining, so we're not really hearing him again, but that's fine. Mr. Money, you've what was your response to the record? Because Mr. Doctor, oh dear. But, okay. Well, he suggested that you should be keeping records of the visitors that come in to the museum. And I also like to chip in that, well, there is in process the establishment of the University of Archaeology in Esie. We are hoping and really praying hard that this will eventually come to fruition. It started a few years ago. At the moment, I think it has passed first, second, third, whatever reading. It has we've had public hearing on it, and the Senate they gave their assent last year. So we're only waiting for, I think, the House of Reps. That's where we are now. Hopefully, when that is done, then they will be having the University of Archaeology and History in Esie, God willing. So that is just another development in case someone like Professor Ari Bidesi wants to know more about the museum. We thank God that we were able to get to this stage. We had lots of we had lots of other across to jump. And we hope we're at the last or second to the last stage now. So we're only waiting for this accent. And then after that, hopefully we'll be having a University of History and Archaeology. And we pray that in the lifetime of people like Professor Mrs. Bolale Awe, who has really, really contributed to getting us to this level, will also witness the establishment of the university by God's grace. So do we have any more questions? Okay, I think we've had a very interesting and enlightening, informative evening. And next month again, God willing, we will bring to your screen another museum. So like the message that went on the chat, if anyone wants to belong to the museum, I mean the virtual friends of the museum, the friends of the virtual museum project, please just say I on WhatsApp to +234 903 7330934. I can see Dr. Iloye wants to say something. We thank Professor Aribidesi for being part of this program. You've actually added so much, is it color? I will call it now, to this program. Thank you very much. It's very enlightening. Thank you, sir. Dr. Iloye, you want to say something, sir?
Oh yes. Can you unmute me? Can you hear me?
You're already unmuted, sir.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, thank you. I want us to appreciate what you have been doing.
Thank you, sir.
It's an eye-opener for the old people and people coming behind. I happen to work in that museum when I left my primary school in 1967. I worked there from 67 to 69, not being paid. I was going there with my brother, Chief Oladipo Olaniyonu, with Alhaji Mustafa. Yeah, so I was there, and during my time there, I was the person who presented the register to Chief Obafemi Awolowo when he came there, 1968. I still remember very well. And I don't know where they keep all this register, where people have been coming, people who have been visiting the museum who wants to know more about it. I thought I had them, but I don't know whether they are keeping the record or maybe during the renovation, some of this information have been dispatched or maybe discarded one way or the other. And that's what I want to contribute. I thank everyone that is on this platform. Esie Agbewa, I thank you for Professor Aribidesi for joining us, because it was just a quick one. We started already. I just messaged him.
Yeah,
because
thank
I
you.
to know Professor Aribidesi through one of my junior in secondary school, and we started chatting, and he told me he has worked there before. And thank you for contributing. We will still need you more to tell us more about your experience in that museum, because we want to see how we can carry this Esie far away. It's going to become a Mecca, as I've said. It's going to become a Jerusalem. It's a very tourist attraction. It's one in the whole world. And I don't believe personally, to me, that is carved, because I believe in the old story, history.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, I know why I'm saying it, because I was there as a young man that time, 67 to 69. I am saying the part. When we are convocating the camp, because we have a farm, every time we are working there, I was there with my brother. It's my brother because the mother is junior sister to my dad. So, and I'm always there anytime, always there or anything like that. And from my own personal experience, when we are convocating the land, we still see some of these images, which we have to bring them out. We brought them out. Alhaji Mustafa, if they are still alive, they can testify. Chief Oladipo Olaniyonu from Okelegun can testify too. So what I'm talking about. So me personally, I don't believe they are carved. I see them I work there and I can tell her. So thank you very much, everybody that is on this platform. Thank you for your contribution.
Thank you.
Professor, we will need you more for your research and what you discover. So please bring on to them. My sister Arishola, please send your email to him. I want him to tell us more. You get my point. I think you are from Kwara State too, Esie. You are from Kwara. Yeah. Because I'm from Ajasha Eko. Okay. I remember the help.
We are all Igbomina people.
We are all Igbomina. So we must promote this Igbomina. Very soon, Igbomina is going to have its own state. They have their own state.
Yeah, no. My dad was in the forefront of the movement some years ago.
Because it's a tourist attraction globally, worldwide. So
I was there. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Inleye. I was actually going to tell Professor Aribidesi because you weren't here when we showed the what do we call it now? The carnival. Okay. Like I was telling someone that, well, I mean, I was telling the audience on this platform that we don't worship the images again, but we have a carnival just was launched about 3 years ago.